Hello, ADO Church of God. I want to jump right back into Luke chapter number 1, verse number 5. And I want to read you the scripture one more time. It says, there was in the days of Herod, the king of Judah, a certain priest named Zacharias of the division of Abijah. His wife was of the daughters of Aaron. And this is important because of who they were connected to and who they were born of. And it said, and her name was Elizabeth, and they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinance of the Lord, blameless, but had no child because Elizabeth was barren, and they were both well advanced in years. It's pretty cool here because it first lets us know that they trust God. They were blameless. They trust the Lord. They lived for the Lord. They walked in the commandments. They did what God required them, but yet at the end it says they have no child, but they had no child, but they had no child. So in other words, they trusted God anyway. And I want to ask you, have you been believing for something that you haven't gotten yet? Have you been trusting God for something that you haven't gotten yet? I believe it's when you trust God anyway, when you look to God anyway. Lord, I would love for you to do this for me. You're praying for something and it doesn't come to pass, but you trust God anyway. You pay your tithes anyway. You come to church anyway. You work on the committee that you've been assigned to anyway. You're still the children's pastor. You're still the youth pastor. You're still on the praise team. Things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, but you did it anyway. I believe when you do it anyway, even when you don't understand, even when you don't agree, even when it doesn't, even in moments in your life where you're like, this is just not right. This is just not right that I haven't accomplished or obtained what I've been praying for all this time. When you trust God anyway, that's what it's describing here with Zacharias and Elizabeth. They trusted the Lord, but they didn't have a child. Elizabeth was barren. Elizabeth was barren, and it goes on to say that they were well advanced in years. So now this is important for you to understand about Zacharias and Elizabeth. They had been trusting God for a long time. This was not something that they just trusted God for a week or a month. And I wonder how many times they prayed. I wonder how many times Zacharias said, God, give my wife this child she so longs. God, open the womb of my wife. God, make this work. And I wonder how many times they asked for this blessing of a child, but they never got it. Because when it says they're advanced in years, they had trusted the Lord for a very long time. They had looked to God for a very long time, but they have yet to receive the promise, but they trusted Him anyway. I understand this because I've been there. I understand this because I've waited on some things and I've looked to some things, and sometimes I don't understand some things. But what I've learned to do is not to give up on God, not to throw in the towel, because God's timing is always right. God's timing is perfect. God knows when you are to get what He wants to give you. And if it's the will of God, it will come to pass. It will come to pass. God bless you.